The trip to Upper Mustang was really intense, but there is no time to rest. I headed to Mongolia to experience another way of life that could disappear, the one of the Tsaatan people, the reindeer herders of the Mongolian taiga. At my arrival in Ulaanbaatar, I'm hosted by a young local family. The oldest daughter is really happy to have me around and won't let me go. But after some day of preparation, I meet my guide and together we take a one-day-long drive to Muru, following a long straight road that cuts through an empty country of endless landscapes. Once in Muru, we spend the night and change the van for a jeep. That's where the real adventure starts.
The Tsaatan people live in the far north of Mongolia, close to the border with Russia, so we have to drive for almost 2 days by jeep to get to them.
At one point, we get out of the main road and start driving on the frozen Kokslov Lake. It's a really big basin and I never did something like that. The sensation is incredible. The ice used to be really solid in late March, but nowadays it's already starting to weaken in this period. Around noon, we stop to cook and have a fast meal. The afternoon sees us again surfing bumpy roads, ice, and finally snow. At the end of the day, we reach the small town of White Lake, where we are welcomed by a local family to rest for the night. Then in the morning, we get ready and are en route again. A couple of hours later, we are in the middle of the snow forest. That's where the Tsaatan people live. Suddenly, between the trees, a handful of grey teepees emerge. One of them will be our accommodation for the following days. While the driver takes some rest, my guide and I decide to visit some of the families. A young woman offers us some tea, an older lady is preparing some bread that will taste later. Most of the men left to go find some missing reindeer. These people live a semi-nomadic life, moving their conical yurts 3 or 4 times a year in order to always provide the best environment for their beloved animals, the reindeer. There need to be enough snow to constrain the movement of the animals and let the herbs that make them healthy grow. Life in the village is simple but hard. In the cold of the morning, Tsaatan take the reindeer up the mountain so they can graze, and bring them back in the afternoon. That's the job of the village chief, but all the community gives a hand. The reindeer is probably the most peaceful animal I ever seen. They don't seem impressed by my presence, so I ignore them back.
Tsaatan people have been living like this, taking care of reindeers for thousands of years, but this is becoming more and more difficult due to climate change.
Every year, temperature rises and snow level gets lower, pushing these people to move at higher altitudes. In addition to that, the region they live became a restricted area where hunting is prohibited. During the time spent here, I've met a lot of kids, but while I leave the camp, I wonder how many of them will be able and eager to keep this way of life in the future. On the way back, we have some surprises.
We're not sure if we can cross because maybe the ice is gonna melt, so the driver is testing walking on it.
But eventually, we make it back to Ulaanbaatar, and I get ready to leave my next destination. However, packing is not exactly easy. Observing the Tsaatan people really made me think about how many different ways there are to live in this planet, and how incomprehensible they can appear to our eyes if we don't make the effort to dive in them.
Hello everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to subscribe with the button below to be sure to catch the new one that will come soon. Please also follow this link if you want to support the project with a donation. If you are a company and want to become a partner, there are special packages just for you will mean a lot to me and will allow me to go farther this incredible adventure of the Ephemeral documentary. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one.